Biden's post-White House money struggle, relatively speaking. Joe Biden's post-presidency is proving lean compared to his peers. According to the Wall Street Journal, he has secured a $10 million book deal, so let's not pass the tin cup for him yet. He earns between $300,000 and $500,000 per speech and collects about $416,000 a year in pensions. But debts on his Rehoboth beach house, rising property taxes, and Hunter Biden's legal bills weigh heavily. Contrast this with Barack and Michelle Obama, who landed a $60 million book deal, not 10, but $60 million. They signed a $50 to $65 million Netflix contract and now command $400,000 to $600,000 per speech each, and they're getting a lot of requests. Their net worth is estimated at over $130 million. Bill and Hillary Clinton amassed more than $240 million in income from speeches, books, and consulting since 2001, with a current net worth around $120 million. Biden, meanwhile, faces slow fundraising for a presidential center in Delaware and fewer corporate suitors due to his age, unpopularity, and Trump's shadow over would-be donors. Okay, so what's the real message here? Not all celebrities, not all former presidents are the same. Yes, the Obamas have cashed in and made hundreds of millions of dollars, as have the Clintons. But Joe Biden making a fortune as a professional public speaker, not so much of a good idea. It's not working. The days of instantly getting $100 million the first couple of years after leaving the White House are over. Okay, let's dig a little deeper here. Again, I don't want to feel too sorry for him. He is getting some speaking gigs, although I got to tell you, I'm not a Biden hater. But if I were going to an annual national real estate convention in Las Vegas, and they told me, hey, this year the big speaker is Joe Biden, I just can't imagine anyone saying, oh, well, now I'm definitely going. Wasn't sure if I was going and paying the $2,000 fee. Now I'm definitely going. Because that is why people, big trade associations, organizations, conferences, pay these large sums of money for famous people. It draws people in who want to hear from them. And the problem for Biden, and to his credit, he's been on the national stage now for more than half of a century. So I think a lot of people feel like, you know what? I think I get what he's about. I've heard him talk. I don't really need more. So he's not getting these gigantic $60 million book deals the way Obama's did. Now, Obama did serve a successful two-term presidency. Biden, obviously, a little different outcome. The other issue is just the age. I mean, Obama was a very young man, comparatively, when he left the White House. Still trim, vigorous, full of energy. His voice still sounds the same. So it's not surprising that he's in huge demand and quite popular. Not the same with Biden. Now, let's look at this historically. There was a time when former presidents and their spouses had no pension. You had Truman leaving office and was broke. Lincoln's widow faced massive debt. Grant basically had to write his autobiography. So I don't really want to go back to those days, nor do I think we're going to. President Reagan really sort of broke new ground. He was the first president who really cashed in a big way. Yes, I understand. Lyndon Johnson cashed in sort of slimy ways by getting himself ownership for TV stations, okay? So we're bipartisan here. Kennedy, obviously, did not have a post-presidency. Reagan was really the first one who sort of cashed in the modern presidency because he got some six-figure speaking deals for speaking in Japan, and it blew people away. These days, a president getting $100,000 for a speech, people would be like, wow, that's so little. He must be giving them a charitable discount. But in 1989, when Ronald Reagan was no longer president and was getting these deals to speak to Japanese, it was unprecedented. No one had ever heard of something like that before. These days, whether you're a former sitcom star, reality star, comedian who said something controversial, it's comparatively, nothing's easy, but it's comparatively never been easier to monetize fame. And presidents, no matter how much you don't like them, no matter how much you might think they are a failed presidency, they're famous and they have lots of opportunities for monetization. Let's assume for a moment that Joe Biden never gets another paid speaking gig. If you just look at the money he gets from his book deal, you put $10 million in a low-cost index fund, for your kids, your grandkids, you don't touch it. Well, in 30 years, you're talking about, it could be $250 million or more. So that is generational wealth right there. So let's not feel too sorry for Joe Biden. And his pension, his government pension, is more than $400,000. Now, let's keep in mind, he was been in public office for nearly half a century. So you could arguably make the case he paid for that. But a lot of people, maybe even you, have worked for a long time and you're not getting a $400,000 a year salary. Now, as a former president, there are a lot of other perks. A lot of your staff, your security. Well, I hope his security is paid for. You never know with the current administration of who they might try to take security away from. But it is law that former presidents have a security detail as long as they live. I certainly hope that continues. So again, he's well in the top 1% in terms of net worth and income at this point. So let's not pass the tin cup. Let's not start a crowdsourcing or a Kickstarter for former President Obama. But it is interesting seeing the differences. And we didn't mention about President George W. Bush, who did for a while make a lot of money as a speaker, but also had one huge windfall when he was cut into a deal because of his name with a baseball team. And he got, I believe, in excess of $20 million before he really started his political career. So if he has had any kind of sound investment there, I would, again, this is not fact-based. I'm just extrapolating off of what any prudent manager would do. George W. Bush should have a net worth of $100 million if he prudently invests his windfall from when he sold his baseball team. So when you have money like that, I don't think he's interested in, flying around the country, giving a speech to the National Chamber of Commerce meeting in Naples, Florida. It's just not how he wants to spend his time. He wants to spend his time painting, spending time with his grandkids, presumably. So anyway, I wish a long, healthy life to all of our former presidents and that they enjoy their retirement years in a way President Carter did, who did pass away at age 100 and had such an extraordinary career, not really devoted to making money in his post-presidency, but devoted to other policy matters and philanthropic activities.